Friday the 13th, the final chapter, picks up immediately after the events of the previous film. The plot follows a presumed dead Jason Voorhees who escapes from the morgue and returns to Crystal Lake to continue his killing spree. The film also marks the debut of the character Tommy Jarvis, who would make further appearances in two sequels and related media, establishing him as Jason's arch enemy. Much like Part 3, the film was originally supposed to be the final installment. You know, I think his name is Mancuso Jr. Frank Mancuso Jr., who, if you don't know who he is the producer or co-producer of the Friday the 13th movies and the Friday the 13th television series. Um, the producer wanted to conclude the series as he felt no one responded to him for his producing work on it, regardless of how much the film earned at the box office, while also wanting to pursue other projects. Paramount supported the decision as they were aware of the declining popularity of slasher films at the time of its release. As a result, the film was marketed as the final chapter to ensure it as such. But yeah, it's the makeup artists, a lot of people who worked on the Friday the 13th. The makeup artist Tom Savini, who worked on the first installment, returned because he wanted to help kill off Jason, whom he helped create. Much like the other movies, Friday the 13th, the final chapter, when it first came out, when it initially came out in theaters, it got a lot of negative reviews from critics at the time, which was 1984. But in retrospect, throughout the years, people have revisited this movie, and people, a lot of critics and a lot of people consider this film, the final chapter, to be one of the strongest entries, one of the strongest films in the entire Friday the 13th film franchise, or maybe just the whole franchise in general. So why don't we break this movie down in the pros and the cons? So, this film is a huge improvement from parts 2 and 3. Jason is still an awesome villain and more terrifying than ever. For once, you actually care about the characters that aren't just Jason Voorhees himself. Tommy is a great protagonist, and Trish is a decent secondary lead. There's a lot, this film has lots of memorable minor characters like Rob, Jimbo, Axel, and the twins. The suspenseful and creepy moments are still pretty effective. There are likable characters, like some of them I mentioned, like Rob, Jimbo, Tommy, Trish, but also Terry and Tina. There's a lot of likable characters. Tom Savini. I hope I pronounced his last name right. I think I kind of a little bit mispronounced his last name. But anyway, he returns to deliver some awesome kills and gore effects. The atmosphere of this film, guys, it's still very eerie and well done. And Harry Manfredini's musical score is great yet again. The storyline is well written. The climax is just as awesome as it was in the previous three films, and the performances were very well acted. I thought like I said, an improvement, since it's one of the huge improvement from the previous films. And because this film has a recap of the first three films, you can watch this one on its own without having to watch the others. Um, And, Wob's death was sad and shocking, even though it had the, oh God, he's killing me, um, you know, line, dialogue. But yeah, there are not a lot, but, maybe one or two memorable quotes. Hey, Ted, where the hell's the corkscrew? And then all of a sudden, Jason stabs his hand with the corkscrew, I think, and then he turns around and I think it was a machete or some kind of weapon, whatever. It looked like a very sharp knife. But this movie does have a couple issues. There are a couple issues I had. There are still a few boring, filler moments in this film. I mean, the tone, even though I thought the atmosphere is very different from the tone. I thought the tone may be too dark and serious for some viewers, but I didn't mind it, but I can see it, being affecting some people. Some of the characters like Doug, Sarah, Samantha are quite forgettable. And also, this film never explained how Jason survived an axe to his head and his death, which was originally supposed to be his definitive end, is one is more so the same kind of thing. So the movie never explained how Jason survived an axe to his head because like he's a human, like a deformed human up to this moment, but like I don't know, it's like it feels like a plot hole. You know, and there's also some weird nonsensical scenes in this film too. Yeah, it's just like what the hell. But other than that, yeah, like I said, it's definitely, revisiting it, there are some enjoyable moments. Um, there are some enjoyable moments, and I do think, yeah, I do like part six. Jason Lives, part six is actually my favorite Friday the 13th movie out of the whole franchise. Part six. I know a lot of people love the first three Friday the 13th movies, but part six, there's something special about that. I think it's one of the better movies out of the whole franchise. My favorite one, personally, but this is definitely my second favorite one. The third one might be, I don't know, maybe part three or maybe part three or part the first film. I don't know. I have to like really consider that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say for Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Thank you so much for taking the time to listening to my review, my thoughts. Please like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe because when you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you would be helping me by a bunch and by tons, and that would really mean a lot to me. And I'm so grateful. I'm so enthusiastic, and I'm very happy that all of you are supporting because when you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you are part of my community. You'll be part of my family, and I treat my YouTube channel like my community. We're not a community. We are like this big family, and I want our family to keep growing and to keep striving and to keep being positive and to keep moving forward. So thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you in my next video.